All right, who's ready to get outside, hit that track for Super Sucky Saturday? It is At Home Fitness with Coach A. I am Coach A, and this is the YouTube channel that aims to bring you guys in gym or today out of gym quality coaching and workouts for your at home garage gym or track technically needs. Without further ado, today's workout is not a hero workout. It is something that is going to allow us to get outside. We are kind of leaning down on the warm days potentially here in northeastern Ohio. So I'm going to focus more specifically Saturday hero WODs if I can, but on things that allow us to get outside and take advantage of being in nature. Today's work is going to be a 30-minute AMRAP, and it is, keep in mind, programmed for a track, specifically probably a track that has a high school football field or a soccer field or something along those lines in between it. So when I explain the rep schemes here, keep in mind you're kind of visualizing, a long field here with the track going around it, because there's going to be some traversing across the field. And I'll explain the possible modifications you guys can make to that here, so you don't have to stick around and watch the video just for that. So we're looking at a 30-minute AMRAP, meaning we're going to work for 30 minutes and collect rounds. First movement is going to be a kettlebell rack carry, front rack, on the shoulder, around the wrist. I'm going to alternate as I need to. We are going to go for 200 meters. So what that's going to look like is, if we have our track here, I'm going to find points in the middle on each side. Those are going to be about 200 meters apart if I'm looping around the track. I'm going to pick one to start at. From that position, I'm going to do my carry to the other one. The second movement starts here, and that is going to be a 200-meter run. It's going to continue around that track, complete the circle or the oval, where I get back to my starting position. Now, the third movement is lunges. No, I'm not going to make you guys lunge 200 meters. We're going to lunge across the field. So theoretically, down the 50-yard line to the other side where the kettlebell is. That should be about 50 yards across. Okay, so make sure you guys are starting on the turf there. You can even start in the field of play if you want and lunge across the field of play. That's fine. 50 yards, 50 meters is really all I'm looking for there. And then you're going to pick that kettlebell up and then do a rack carry around 200 meters before your next run. If we need to modify this at home, we don't have access to a track, or we don't have access to anything, we're going to lunge our way across like that. Then we're just going to simply try and stick to the distances. So a 200-meter carry out and back, you guys can even drop that down to 100 meters if you're not somebody that has a ton of practice at doing carries. Remember, switching sides as needed, even if it's in the middle, I don't care as long as it keeps you moving. So it's either going to be 100 out, 100 back, or 50 meters out, 50 meters back. The run, if we're sticking with 200 meters, same thing, 100 meters out, 100 meters back. If we're going to keep the carry at 200 and we want to do a little more running today, we have 30 minutes, why not? Then we can go 400, in which case 200 out, 200 back. Finally, that lunge, as I said, is going to be 50. So you guys are basically looking at 25 meters out, 25 meters back. A rough mathematical estimate is somewhere around 75 feet per 25 meters. So 75 feet out, 75 feet back for our 30-minute AMRAP. Stick around if you're not sure on the movements and the positioning of the rack. I will demonstrate in the garage. Getting in the rhythm today with Super Sucky Saturday. So remember, the idea here is that we are at a track. I'm going to do a little drawing here to demonstrate for you guys what directionally this is set up as, so that you're more easily able to understand what's going on here. So we have three different colors here. If I'm looking at the track from overhead, let's call this the field, soccer field, football field, football field, whatever you want to call it. Let's call this the track that goes around the field. All right, so the track's 400 meters around. So we're looking at here is 400, halfway is going to give me 200 meters, and then across the field is going to give me 50 meters. So when I set up, I'm going to start in this even position on one side here. I'm going to do my 200 meter carry across. I'm going to transition to my 200 meter run to here, and then I'm going to go across thrust on my 50-meter lunge. That's going to give me one full round of the movement. We're going at this for 30 seconds. The big piece I want to make sure I go over here with you guys, because obviously everybody understands a lunge and a run, is that rack position. We're talking front rack on the walking carry. In a perfect world, the wrist is sitting here between the handle and the bell. The bell is resting on the bicep and the pec. My thumb is on the collarbone, okay? That's gonna make sure that my core is doing a ton of work. It's also gonna make it very challenging to breathe. If I wanna bring the elbow up and bring the hand away from the collarbone a little bit, that's fine. What I don't wanna see is you guys turning out too much and stacking it on the shoulder, where the weight's not in the frontal plane and it's causing us stress here, but instead it's just kind of sitting out on the shoulder, and it's very similar to a single-sided carry, okay? So again, 30 minutes, 200-meter carry, switch back and forth as needed. Ideally, they're pretty close to the same, 200-meter run, and that 50-meter across the field walking lunge with no weight, because you're going back to your kettlebell. Stay tuned for movement modifications. All right, so modifications today are super quick. If we're looking at a dumbbell or something else, we can always carry that. If you have only a barbell, you guys can front rack it and just carry it there. If we aren't going to be at a track and we just want to carry this in place, there's one thing we can do, and that's call it a march. All right. If I were to walk all the way around the track, it would probably take somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 4 to 8 minutes. In which case, maybe we march right side for 30 seconds, march left side for 30 seconds. Maybe we do that twice. Maybe we cut it down and do something else per round. But that'll give you that same kind of core breathing cardiovascular development that I'm looking for with the carry itself. Now, distances, if we're not going to be running, we're going to be doing this at home. 200-meter run, 250, 200-meter row, guys, girls. 20 and 14 calories on the Airdyne, and a 400-meter Concept 2 bike ride. For the lunges, if you guys need to do step-ups, because we're doing them at home, that works just as